Yes, I am standing for this video, mostly because I felt like it. I was kind of sick of sitting, so I'm standing for this one. I'll probably be back to sitting in a lot of others. Welcome back to Every Disney Movie Ever. My name is Jess and I'm watching Every Disney Movie Ever. This is the Rewatch series, and today I'm talking about Lady and the Tramp. Lady and the Tramp is a 1955 animated theatrical release, and I've covered everyone except 3 people. Everyone that I've covered will be listed and linked in the description. The 3 people I haven't covered are 2 animators, Hal King and Ken O'Brien, and the 3rd one is a writer named DaGradi. All 3 of them, funnily enough, are best known for their Disney work: Sleeping Beauty, 101, Bedknobs and Broomsticks, Mary Poppins, etc. Lady and the Tramp is partially based off an article that Walt Disney read in Cosmopolitan in 1945. It was called Happy Dan, the Cynical Dog. It was written by Ward Green. They really just got Tramp's character from that article, and Walt then begged Ward to release a book called Lady and the Tramp, released in 1953, I believe, yes. And there is no plot summary for the article. I couldn't find the article anywhere. I tried to find it, and the story is the Lady and the Tramp story that is in the movie, so we can't compare. The film stars Barbara Luddy, Larry Roberts, Peggy Lee, Lee Miller, Verna Felton, Bill Bacall, and Bill Thompson. Barbara Luddy plays Lady and is best known for all of her Disney work: Winnie the Pooh, Sleeping Beauty, and this. Larry Roberts plays Tramp, and this is his only credit. Peggy Lee plays Darling, C, and Peg, and she's best known for being a musician, a jazz singer. Specifically, she did the song Fever. You know, you give me fever. Okay. Lee Miller plays Jim Deere and is best known for Lux Video Theater, The Twilight Zone, Space Patrol in this. Verna Felton plays Aunt Sarah, and I covered her in the video about Cinderella. Link will be in the description. Bill Bacall plays Trusty and is best known for Alfred Hitchcock Presents, M Squad, Gunsmoke, and this. Bill Thompson plays Jock, and I covered him in the video about Alice in Wonderland. The link will be in the description. In 1937, Joe Grant came up with the idea for this film based on his English Springer Spaniel, and Disney let him work on it. But for the most of the time that Joe Grant was working on it, Disney thought Lady was way too sweet and that there wasn't enough action in the film. And then in 1945, he read the article Happy Dan, the Cynical Dog, and brought it to Grant and said, wouldn't it be more interesting if Lady fell for a cynical dog? Tramp was the final name, but other names include Homer, Rags, and Bozo. A lot of story changes happen throughout production, as we have learned at this point. It definitely happens. You do not start with the story you end up with, because you work your way to the best it can be. It started with 1 neighbor named Hubert instead of 2. There was a love triangle at one point. The rat was originally supposed to be comical, but was changed to scary to make it more intense. The film, originally it was Jim Brown and Elizabeth, but to keep it at Lady's perspective, they changed it to Darling and Jim Deere, because that's what she would hear them call each other. And they really refocused the film down at Lady's perspective, so that's why a lot of faces aren't shown. There are faces, there are quite a few, but they aren't shown a lot because Lady's at your feet level, so you see a lot of stuff from that level. It was really cool to read about all the stuff that could have been. Jim giving Darling Lady in a hat box was actually inspired by Walt giving his wife a chow puppy in a hat box because he missed a dinner date, and they decided to use it. Peggy Lee co-wrote the songs, and Joe Grant left the studio in 1949, but all of his stories and ideas were used all the way up until the film was released. Just like they did with Bambi, the animators studied a lot of dogs to make sure they were animating correctly and realistically. Walt wanted to cut the spaghetti scene. He thought people would think dogs being romantic with spaghetti would be silly, and Frank Thomas was so adamant about this scene, he animated the entire thing on his own without help, and when he showed it to Walt, Walt actually loved it and was like, good call, we'll keep it, I like it. But a lot of animators thought it should be slower, so an assistant had to go in and do half numbers to make the scene a little bit slower. This is the first animated film in CinemaScope ever, which provided problems for the animators, but they overcame all of them: a longer background, harder close-ups, etc. Peggy Lee co-wrote the music with Sonny Burke. The film was released in June of 1955 and wasn't immediately loved by critics. They actually thought the story was a little too gooey. I think they mean like a little too cliche, too cringy. I don't know. And that was the quote. Literally gooey was the quote. So, and they also thought the animation was bad, which I will have I can't believe that. But that was the thought at the time. The film did well though. It made $6.5 million off a $4 million budget, which is great for Disney and them. And the film has a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's obviously now considered a classic. The spaghetti scene is one of the most famous scenes in film history at this point. As I'm sure you saw in the thumbnail, you saw I had the DVD. I actually borrowed this from my cousin Erin. Shout out to her, please, because we don't own the DVD actually, which is shocking. So I'm gonna have to purchase it, but I couldn't have bought it in time. But she didn't have like a 2-disc special edition, so there were a couple bonus features on this disc, but not as many as normal. So the first bonus feature was Diane remembering Dad. So it was Walt Disney's daughter, Diane, remembering this apartment that he had in Disneyland over the fire department, and just recollected a lot of stories about him and her mom being there a lot, and them taking their grandkids, her children, to Disneyland, and just a lot of memories about that particular apartment. It was very sweet. The next bonus feature was like a Puppypedia, and it talked about the different kinds of dogs, you know, sporting, non-sporting, toy, working, etc., which was also very cute. It was a little early 2000s cringe, but it was still very cute. And then the other two things are like, download this movie digitally, or discover 3D Blu-ray and 3D Blu-ray discs. So those were on there as well, but they were silly, so I'm not going to talk about them really. There is a sequel. It's called Lady and the Tramp 2 Scamp's Adventure. It is about their son, Scamp, and adventures he gets into. I actually have never seen the film. It was released in 2011. I will get there. And there wasn't a live-action adaptation announced. They actually began filming in September of last year. It's got like Tessa Thompson and Justin Theroux and Janelle Monáe in it. It's like star-studded cast, but it will probably be released on Disney+. In my original video, link in the description, I pretty much discussed how I thought it was weird that they're calling a dog tag a license, how Aunt Sarah is an absolute evil person and I hate her, how they fall in love over a dinner and that's pretty stupid and not great, and how Trusty almost dies and it's the worst. I have some new notes. Earlier I mentioned how the film got criticized for its animation, and that is a crime. The animation in this film is stunning. I'm gonna point to one shot in particular that actually brought me out of the film. Well, not really, because I was very like in that moment, but I was just like, oh my, like it took my breath away how stunning that shot. It's animated, the light in that shot, it's ridiculous. And the rest of the animation in the film is stunning. I don't know where those people got off saying the animation was bad. Maybe in 1955 when it was released it wasn't bad and the restoration has really helped it, but I doubt it because wow, oh my word, so stunning. I wanted to get that out of the way. Now I have to report to you guys that I cried like 3 times watching this movie. I don't know, but I cried like 3 times. The first time I cried was when Lady met the baby. Just a bag of emotions over here. Lady meeting the baby made me so emotional out of nowhere. Like I was like, oh, I want to meet the baby too. I'm excited, I'm excited, I'm excited. And then like she thought Jim was gonna hit her and I was like, no. And then like she met the baby and it was like, and I was like, oh my God. And then as the movie went on, it just made me realize that this movie is filled with actions speak louder than words. Pretty much. Everyone in this film is ride or die. They are ride or die. Jim Deere running out in the middle of the night to get darling watermelon and chop suey when it is so cold outside. It's in the middle of the winter and he's dead tired and he's leaving to go get her cravings. That is so adorable and I love that. Tramp gets totally reamed and scolded by Lady and told to shoo and go away. Hears her barking and panicking, comes back, is like, what's wrong? And she's like, the baby. And he's like, how do I get in? Like immediately. And he's established he doesn't care about babies. And he's just like, I care about you. I love you. You care about this baby. I care about this baby. How do I get in there? I will save the baby from the rat. And I'm just like, oh my God. And then the second Trusty and Jock hear that Tramp is innocent, no questions asked, no second thoughts, they run to go save him. The film is full of ride or die, okay? Ride or die friends and family and lovers, all right? And I'm living for it, and it made me really emotional. I cried like 3 times. Also, Aunt Sarah's still the worst. She tries to redeem herself by sending dog biscuits for Christmas. How about you don't send Tramp to his death and don't lock my dog in the cellar? That is everything I have for Lady and the Tramp. I am shocked. I cried 3 times. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why I'm crying all of a sudden during the rewatch series. Maybe because I have a better appreciation for the films. But the last time I did this for the series, it was the first time I had seen the movie. So maybe I didn't really, you know, I was just like, oh yeah, here we go, I'm excited. And this time I remember being like, I really enjoyed that, I feel like. And I really did. I really like Lady and the Tramp. And like, I need to own it and like watch it more. I hate that I don't watch it more. It's a really good movie. So I think I'm gonna give it like a 9. 9 dogs out of 10. Original movie count is. Can't count Parent Death and Cry count, but I did cry like 3 times, so mental note that for you. If you want to keep up with what movie I'm watching when, follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and you can find out what movie I'm watching when. I put out videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Until next time, comment, like, subscribe, and I'm sure you are, so you, and don't be Aunt Sarah or the Siamese cats about it, because, wow. I stood for this video. Was it lame? I don't know. It's definitely darker, so I probably won't do this again, which is really unfortunate, but. Ooh. Oh my god, did you hear my wrist clicking? Gross.